we are live here at the Clark Athletic Center as the SUNY Westbury Panthers get ready to take on the women's basketball team for Maritime College. I'm Ryan Garcia here for OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio, and I'm joined by the one and only Josh Wilson. Josh, last time we were here a week ago, the Panthers took a gutty win for their first win in over a year. How can they make it back-to-back tonight for, again, the first time in over a year?
They got to bring that same defense, that same energy that they brought last week. We saw a lot of energy, a lot of defense, not too much shooting, more in the paint scoring. We had Capella, our last Panther player of the game, with a double-double, and we're just looking forward to seeing what a lot of these new Panther players have in store for tonight. Their second game of the season, their first game in a week. Ryan, what have you seen in shoot-around so far?
So far, you're seeing a lot of drills centered around ball movement, and you're seeing a lot of three-point shooting early on. And I do think that the Panthers are going to need to blend their ability to utilize their size. Capella, someone you mentioned, she had a double-double in her Panther debut. A lot of size for the Panthers that she provides. They need to be able to at least present a threat from three, not necessarily have to lean on the three-point ball like that, but you got to be able to at least threaten your opponent with it.
They have to make their offense a little more versatile.
Yes.
Just a few more outside the paint shots, a few more mid-range touches. I think we all would like to see that, and just like to see them bring that same, literally that exact same intensity that they had a week ago. That defense was amazing, and, I believe it was, do you know what they played last week?
I believe last week they played City College with New York. It was a 43-39 victory.
Last week against City College, they didn't really get to the paint as often. They had to settle for perimeter shots. That was because of how intense the defense was, so they didn't want to come inside the perimeter. And they had to settle. You want to see more of that against the United States Merchant Marine Academy, the long name.
Yeah, long school name. They're 1-1 on the year. They're a team that has had some inconsistency in their offensive production. They're shooting around 41% from the field, around 31% from three in their first two games. And they have two games under their belt. The Panthers just won. And we highlighted this in the first game of the year, the season opener. The Panthers do not have a lot of continuity on their roster. Just two players returning from the 2024-2025 team. Josh, we saw a little bit of sloppy offense in that first game from the Panthers, but a lot of energy. I think it was a net positive. I mean, it's a positive to just have won the basketball game, but I think that if they can refine their offense, find a semblance of identity and continuity offensively, get comfortable gelling together. They had a whole week off to practice and get themselves back in the right mentality.
Right.
Josh, how do you think that first game can be a learning lesson for them as they play tonight?
Well, like you said, there's a lack of continuity, but that does mean a chance for, opportunity, to prove yourself and prove what you can do, what is reliable for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that, of course, you rely on Capella, but not too much. I think that offensive rebounding that helped them get extra opportunities at getting the ball up again. I think they need to keep that energy. I think they need to keep the rebounding up. They got to hit their free throws, too. They were hitting their free throws last game. They got to maintain that, because when you're on the rebounding a lot, when you're on the rim a lot, and then the other team, especially this team, they're a smaller team. Or Westbury, them being the taller team, you're going to get fouled a bit. Yeah, they're going to be trying to box you out. They're going to try and reach over you when they can't. Sometimes that size advantage just gets the best of you, and so you want to use that to your advantage. I look forward to seeing that tonight.
Absolutely. And one note for the Panthers, in their recent contest against CCNY, they did struggle with turning the basketball over. The Panthers in that contest turned the ball over 29 times. Their leading turnover was Cone, number 15. She was their starting point guard. She's the primary ball handler for SUNY Old Westbury. They're going to need her to be a little more efficient and take care of the basketball a little bit more. 29 turnovers is an unsustainable mark if the Panthers want to claim victory tonight. On the other side, USMMA, again, the United States Merchant Marine College, or Academy, they had 33 steals in their first two games of the year, 42 turnovers, so they're averaging 21 turnovers a game and about 16 and a half steals a game. So for the Panthers, I do believe this is an opportunity to, if you can keep the turnovers down and you can create turnovers on the other side, you might be able to win the turnover battle and get some extra possessions. Josh, 29 turnovers for the Panthers last time. How do they got to reduce that number?
Well, you got to make your offense less predictable.
Yes.
They were focused in the paint often. They were, a lot of times, the point guard Moore, who was getting up the court. Good ball handling, good ball control, but a lot of times she'd put her head down or just look for Kapala after driving to the paint and not really finding an opening. And that's when it gets predictable, because it's like, okay, we know you're going to pass it next to the rim. But then if they're looking for some shots on the perimeter, near the wing or on the corner, it kind of spreads the defense out. And I think that's what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we get we get draw closer to tip-off here, just a few minutes until the first quarter will begin. Josh, I also think it's imperative that the Panthers find a way to be more efficient from the field. I think efficiency, taking care of the basketball, those are two things they really struggled with. They shot 15 of 52 from the field. That's a very ugly number. And they shot 1 for 5 from 3, 12 from 21 from the free throw line. Not great, but a better mark than what they had otherwise. How could they be more efficient based on what you saw from last week and generate an increased shot quality and also shot efficiency?
It's interesting because, like you said, they were 1 for 5 from 3, but it was only a few players. It was only like 1 or 2 players really taking any threes. So I wonder if more players had that opportunity and what they would do with that opportunity. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely.
I think you see certain players, they'll have plays ran for them to come off the wing and, curl a screen, but catch the ball and take 2 dribbles and then make another pass. And I think they got to, take more shots at the perimeter. I think they got to keep their head towards the rim. I think you have to literally sometimes catch the ball, maybe put it on the floor one or 2 times, but sometimes you got to just put the ball up.
Yes, and for head coach Joe Pellicane, has a full game to work with now with his game plan to understand the personnel on his roster. I think the person that you've got to highlight the most here is Capola, who had a double-double, 16 points and 19 rebounds in her first game with the Panthers. The question again becoming how the Panthers will be able to get her incorporated again. Josh, what are your 3 keys for the Panthers claiming victory tonight?
Well, like I've been stressing, definitely defense and rebounding. So I guess that's 2. I would say the third would have to be, like you mentioned earlier, just that transition offense. I think just taking advantage of your defense and scoring off the defense. That's going to be very crucial. That's your easiest chance at scoring. Scoring in the half court, I don't really see the Panthers making that happen consistently, but that transition offense is where it's going to be at.
Right, looking at that first game, I don't get the sense that the Panthers' identity is big shootouts, blowing opponents out, just killing them with 3-pointers or offense in general. I think it's turning their defense into offense throughout the contest. Transition points are key. As I highlighted, United States Merchant Marine College, again, USMMA, they do struggle with efficiency. So if you can find a way to, for lack of better terms, use their inefficiency against them, win the rebound battle, turn their misses into transition offense opportunities. Depending on how active they are on the 3-point side, you might have opportunities where you have multiple misadvantages, 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, 5-on-4s. You've got to be able to attack those advantages and win the rep. For the Panthers, it's early and often, in my opinion. I think they're going to have to find a way to pull out to an early lead and then use their strong and intense defense to suffocate their opponent. Again, we saw a low-scoring affair in their first contest, 43-39, a very low-scoring game in 4 quarters. Can they do it again? That's really the question here tonight as we get ready and draw closer to tip-off here at the Clark Athletic Center. The Panthers, again, 1-0 on the season. USMMA 1-1. The value of going 2-0 and starting your season with 2 consecutive wins after a year where you have 0 wins. Can you speak to the importance of that for the Panthers and their identity and how it can translate for the rest of the year?
It's definitely important. You want to start out your season just as good as possible. Right now being undefeated with your first win, you want to turn that into a second win, and you want to just keep that momentum, even with you starting off the season with some home games. Once you go on the road, it's a different environment, it's a different intensity, and you got to carry that momentum. You have to show yourself, hey, we can win over here, we can win in these other areas too. And even if it doesn't go well on the road, your record is still intact because you have all these home game wins.
Yeah, and again, when we look at the Mariners, that's what USMMA is referred to as the Mariners. They are a team that, again, has gone 1-1 the year, 1 win, 1 loss. Whether for them, they want to get back up to above 500. Falling below 500, then it means you have to win 2 straight to climb out of that hole. For the Panthers, a 2-0 start. I think it feels like a turnaround. The first game, there was tons of energy, a really good turnout from the SUNY Old Westbury faithful. The Panther faithful was very much involved, and I thought played a role in that game because there are a lot of hold-your-breath moments. Late in the game, we saw a crucial turnover from Cone that almost became disastrous for the Panthers.
Right.
But I think the energy in the Clark Athletic Center helped, and we've got Andrew DJing tonight. He'll keep the crowd active and engaged in the contest. Andrew over there doing a great job DJing tonight's contest, but we see another turnout from the crowd like we saw on last Wednesday, and I think this place could be rocking. This could be an environment where the Panthers feed off of it and again, put the Mariners in an uncomfortable position. I thought CCNY was uncomfortable late in that game, hearing how loud the crowd could get, knowing every missed shot was followed by a roar from the crowd, people stomping on the bleachers, creating noise in any way they can. If you're listening to this on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio, your support is definitely going to be heard and felt tonight. And if you're here at the Clark Athletic Center showing your Panther pride, that is going to have an impact on the game as well. Josh, how do you think environment can play a role in a victory or a loss for the Panthers here in their home court?
Well, it's funny. I remember last game, it was around like that first quarter where the game started to get packed again. Or not again, but it started to really fill up. The seats started to get filled. So I'm looking forward to that. The same thing happening tonight. I think it's very important to, just show that same love to your team when they're at home. They're not going to get it anywhere else. Might as well bring it when they're here.
Absolutely, and the clock is starting to wind down on the pregame show here on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. And to fans who might go, oh, it's a shame the pregame show is ending. I think, Josh, people really enjoy hearing your analysis, and I think my voice can be solid at best. But that's not bad news. That's not bad news to hear, because that means in just a few seconds, tip-off will begin. The Panthers and the Mariners will have starting lineups announced. We'll have the national anthem playing. This is a highly anticipated matchup for the Panthers, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, because coming up next after this break, Panthers, Mariners, Clark Athletic Center, right back after this. And we are back here at the Clark Athletic Center. The Panthers starting lineup being announced right now. The Mariners had their starting lineup announced. The Panthers 1-0 on the season. Mariners 1-1 on the season. There should be an exciting contest as the Panthers get ready to take on a Mariners team that's looking to claw back to above 500. Josh, should be an exciting one.
Yes, it should.
As the lineup being announced, Fowler among those starting. She was a substitution last time. She'll start this time. Panthers still trying to figure out how they're going to keep their offense or their starting lineup ready. Capola, the last starter announced, she was the most impactful on the stat sheet. What an incredible environment we're seeing early on. Some people still pouring in. We expect more to show up as the quarter goes on.
Seeing some familiar faces in the crowd.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this on OWWRNY.org, you guys can check the schedule for radio shows, our next broadcast, all of that and more. And if you want to listen to OWWR and take it on the go, download the TuneIn Radio app, keyword OWWRNY. But promotional stuff out of the way, it's basketball time here in the Clark Athletic Center. Panthers, Mariners getting ready. Two teams in the huddle. Mariners just broke their huddle. They're getting ready for tip-off here, as it should be a highly anticipated, highly competitive contest. Both teams getting ready. Mariners in pretty normal, typical kind of ocean shade of blue. Panthers wearing their white uniforms. White on blue, pretty distinct color patterns. You always like that as a broadcaster. As we get ready for these two teams to tip off, what are you noticing from a size perspective in both sides?
At first during the shoot-arounds, I thought Westbury had the height advantage. That doesn't really seem like the case.
Yeah, there's a good amount of size.
It seems like their starters actually have some size.
And that size helps the Mariners win the tip-off. Mariners taking the ball up the court. That's Doan, number one. Three-point attempt from the Mariners. It's good. Early firepower and fireworks from the Mariners.
Right out the bat.
That's an aggressive shot, and they made it. Panthers racing up the court.
trying to generate some offense, and it's turned over. Mariners have it. That's number 1, Doan, taking the ball up the court for the Mariners. They lead 3-0 here early in the Clark Athletic Center. Swing pass. Looked like they were going to try and take a 3. That did not occur there. Mariners looking for a play. Jump shot. No good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Blocked. Panthers unable to defend a putback from the Mariners. It is 5-0 here in the first.
Panthers bringing it up on the left side.
Trying to shake their defender free, that being the Panthers right now. Coppola has it, passes it out to Fowler. Fowler dishes it back out. Coppola now has it again. Working on the outside on the perimeter. She almost turns it over. Quick decision to try and get it out of her hands and reset what's going on. Passes picked off by the Mariners. Mariners, they've got the advantage. 3-on-2. They're running to the basket. Passed out. Put up, not good for the Mariners. Rebounded by the Mariners, and it's a fight for the basketball. They're ruling it Panther basketball. Josh, what did you see in that sequence?
Mariners playing great defense so far. Back-to-back turnovers by the Panthers. They got to be more careful with the ball. As they call it timeout, Panthers, they need a quick break.
Yeah, wise decision.
Yeah, definitely need to talk it over. 5-0 run immediately with a minute 20 into the game.
Not even a shot attempt all for the Panthers. They look discombobulated.
Just because, well, they have a new point guard, it seems, out there.
Yeah, after last week, they had issues with turnovers. With Cone as their primary starter, they've seemed to switch up their guard situation. But this is part of what we discussed in terms of Frazier on the court.
And that's kind of a lineup adjustment that's new, I guess, because the season just started, trying to figure out lineups and certain rotations that work.
Yeah, the Panthers not really sure what their offense is trying to be set to be right now.
Seems like Cone is now going to be dribbling the ball up and making the point guard decisions, or at least they're looking for Cone to.
Yep, Frazier foul, Cone, McLeod, and Coppola for the Panthers. As Panthers taking the ball up the court, driving up the court right now is number 1. That's Frazier. Frazier almost turns it over, dumps it off to Cone. Cone, screen from Fowler. Driving to the basket, dumps it off to Coppola. Coppola, jump shot, it's good. Panthers on the board, it's 5-2.
And that was kind of what I meant with Coppola taking more mid-range shots, not being exclusive to the paint.
Saw her working a lot on that in warm-ups. Panthers left the shooter all alone and comfortable taking that three-pointer. It's good. Mariners, their second three-pointer of the first quarter. It is 8-2.
They are bringing the energy tonight.
Absolutely, as Cone taking the ball up the court, as Josh mentioned. A little bit of an interesting situation. They switched up their primary ball handler. Fowler will drive to the basket, or McLeod, excuse me. Jump shot, Coppola, it's good. She responds with a three-point shot. It is 8-5.
And now you're wondering how they're going to guard that with their center being the one shooting.
If the jump shot's good, it'll be able to work for the Panthers as the Mariners respond with a jump shot. That's a two-pointer. It's 10-5. But yeah, the jump shot should be able to create some spacing for the Panthers, something they didn't have in their first contest. Cone taking the ball up the court, surveying the defense, almost loses her handle, but she regains it. Dumps it off to Fowler. Fowler gets the screen from McLeod, working around, driving to the basket, loses the basketball, recovers it. McLeod, Fowler, blocked by the Mariners, rebounded by the Mariners. They'll slow things down. They'll have to go with a half-court offense, not the transition offense. Wide open on the perimeter. Three-point shot. Rims out. Rebounded by the Mariners. Mariners have it. Three-pointer. It's no good. Rebounded by the Mariners again. Put back. No good. Rebounded by, it's knocked out of bounds. They're ruling it Panther basketball. Josh, rebounding has to be a little better in that possession.
Yeah, definitely need more energy. It seems like they're a little shell-shocked off of that, that initial start to the game. They got to get their heads back in it like last week.
Absolutely, and when we talk about the rebounding they got in their first matchup, it's not there right now early on. If they can get the rebounding going, I think they'll get in a groove. Cone taking the ball up the court for the Panthers, who trail 10-5 in the first quarter. McLeod setting the screen.
Lewis with the ball, passing it over back to McLeod.
McLeod dumps it off as to Frazier. Frazier trying to work around the defense. Lewis has it. Chooses to drive to the rim. Contested shot, no good. Mariners block turnover, now have it. Ugly shot there from Lewis.
Yeah, you don't want to run into the defense and then shoot. If you had an open shot, you might as well take that.
Looking for some contact there. Mariners' three-point shot is no good and rebounded by Cone. Cone trying to hurry it up. Frazier, and she throws it away.
Well, it seemed like it was picked off by
but it was off the hands of the Mariners,
Yeah.
so the Panthers will attain possession. Not a bad decision to try and get it up ahead. Frazier was all alone, but
I agree.
really good defense on the Mariners side to get a hand on it. As inbounding this ball is Frazier, the intended target of that pass that was knocked out of bounds by the Mariners.
And if you're the Panthers, you want one to go down right now. You need something that could work in a good shot. You don't need just any layup or any shot close to the rim. Just a good open shot.
Lewis was the one who received the inbound. She passed it off to Cone. Coppola setting the screen for Lewis. Lewis looked like she was going to go for a jump shot. She did it. Driving to the rim. She gets contact, and it's a travel. They rule it a travel. 2 times Lewis went to the basket, 2 times of empty possessions.
Yeah, and like I said, catching the ball on the wing, you want that shot. I mean, the defense is focused in the paint right now. They're focused on Coppola. Coppola's the only one who scored.
Yeah, absolutely. As the Mariners now creating some ball movement here, Panthers
Defense looking
smother.
a little more intense.
Yeah, Panthers doing a better job of smothering, but the open 3-point shot, it's good for the Mariners.
You got to recover. You can't just leave somebody open.
Mariners creating a ton of ball movement. It is a pretty sizable lead for the Mariners. They're up 13-5 here in the first quarter. Pass to Cone is smothered immediately by the Mariners. Cone did not work through the screen. She almost loses the basketball. Can it be pulled away? They're ruling it's Mariner basketball. They did strip the ball away.
Yeah, and this is not good right now. Like I said, in pregame, they're dribbling the ball towards the paint. They're trying to find lanes to the paint, but they're getting stopped, and then they try to turn around. But you can't really do that. You gotta make a decision and be decisive in the paint.
Mariners got a bounce pass into one of their scorers who drove into the basket and made a 2-point play. It's 15-5. Panthers trailing by 10 in the first quarter. Down big. They're going to try and regroup and generate some offense here. Frazier has it, surveying the defense, gets past the defender, driving to the rim, blocked by the Mariners.
Yeah.
Mariners, fast break. They've got a woman wide open. Driving to the rim, layup is good. It's 17-5.
And already 17 points in less than 6 minutes.
You know, they gave a lot of praise to the Pacers for their ability to score in bursts.
But their defense is, and it's not even so much of their defense.
Travel or double dribble called against Lewis. It feels like when Lewis is driving to the rim, things are not going the Panther way right now.
You got to shoot the ball. And I think Cone has to be the one to drive, but take the right drives. You can't just drive at any point. When the paint is open, you got to take that.
I think Lewis is trying to look to drive and generate and draw some contact. And
I agree.
They haven't been able to draw a foul just yet. I think that it's a valuable skill to have to be able to get into the paint and get some contact, but it hasn't gone the Panther way. Mariners inbound it, surveying the defense. Wide open on the perimeter again, but no 3-point attempt there. Driving to the rim, denied and turned over. Panthers have it. They'll reset their offense. Cone taking the ball up the court, shakes the defender off from behind her. Cone slowing it down, trying to get the offense set. Drives to the left side, dumps it off to Walker. Walker called.
No, it seemed like a foul was called on the
That's
Mariners.
A foul called against the Mariners. It was Moore who was fouled as she took the ball off the court. Cone will inbound. On the court right now, you have Moore, Coppola, who are some of the more prominent players in minutes and scoring.
Got Lewis and Moore as well.
Yep, Lewis on the court. There's a substitution, number 21, Belazar, who was a big part of their win to open the year, is coming off the court, entering the court for the Panthers. That is number 3 for the Panthers. That's Walker. Cone dumps it off to Lewis. Lewis guarded immediately, and her pass is turned over. Wait, they're ruling a jump ball, and they'll keep it on the Panthers' side. Really smart play by Cone there, who dove on the ball immediately once it was in the Mariner hands.
I think there's a little miscommunication between the passing and knowing where to put the ball, where the players are going.
Lewis received the bounce pass to Cone, but Cone's shot rimmed out. Not a bad play at all, just didn't go the Panther way. As the Mariners take the ball up the court there, Panthers trailing by 12 here in the first quarter. Mariners surveying the Panther defense. They've done a great job of generating perimeter offense all day. Moving the ball around the perimeter. 3-point shot. It's good. Mariners pouring it on here in the first quarter.
The Mariners seem like a team that, they might miss a shot or two, but they're not going to keep missing. They're going to hit those ones, especially if you're leaving them open.
Yep, it's 20-5 in the first quarter. Cone driving into the paint. Layup is blocked, denied by the Mariners. Mariners rebound it. And they will take the ball up the court. Panthers getting routed here in the first quarter. Mariners called for the travel. It'll be Panther basketball. Josh, need offense immediately.
Yeah, but it seems like the only way they get offense is driving to the paint and finding a shot outside the paint or in the paint. And if you're making the same move from the same angle, it gets kind of predictable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy. At one point, this was an 8-5 game. Mariners have gone on a 12-0 run. Lewis now has it on a pass from Moore. Almost lost it there. Almost loses it again. Lewis still has it. Still controlling the basketball. Cone passes it off to her. Cone almost lost the dribble. Driving to the rim. No good. Mariners rebound. The scoreless drought continues for the Panthers as we have a little over 2.5 minutes here in the first quarter.
They've been scoreless for about 5 minutes.
Panthers disrupt the pass from the Mariners. Knock it out of bounds. It'll stay Mariner ball, but a good defensive play there to knock it out of bounds. Panthers waiting for the inbound from the Mariners. Mariners inbound it. Jump shot. It's good for the Mariners. That's a 2-point play. It's 22-5.
You can't leave them open. She came off one screen, caught the ball, and shot it immediately. You can't allow that type of shot to be that open.
Yeah, their inbound play worked really well, but the Panthers didn't really provide a lot of opposition to that. Cone now has it on a pass from Lewis. Cone, getting the screen. Driving to the rim. Coppola, jump shot. It's good. Coppola has been the source of all the Panthers' offense. She has 7 of the Panthers' 7 points today.
And if you're the Panthers, you really want to close out on these shots. I think the zone isn't really helping them because they're shooting over the zone.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. They're not really getting a lot of hands up. 3-point shot. It's good. Mariners, oh my, 22-7, just as Josh called it. Josh said it.
This is kind of funny. All right, so you got Lewis bringing up the ball past half court, looking to see where to throw it. Gets it to Cone on the left wing.
Also, correction, 2-point shot on that one for the Mariners. 24-7, not 25. Apologies on my end.
Yeah, Moore driving, gets a right-handed layup. It seems to fall off the rim. Mariners with the ball coming down. Number 15 for the Mariners. Dribbling past half court. Passes off to the left wing. Passing it back to number 15. Gets it to the right wing. Wide open. Seems like she's going to take it. No good. They get the offensive rebound for the Mariners, and they're passing it back around. Back to the same shooter. Same spot, same result, as they got another offensive rebound. 3 offensive rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. 1 player with 3 rebounds and finally gets a layup. It is 26-7. Panthers, they're looking for a spark.
Yeah, Moore taking the ball up the court. Josh, that was a rough possession for the Panthers, who are just getting bullied on the court right now. Walker trying to get past her, or Moore trying to get past her defender, up and over, under, and it does not even come close. Mariners have the 5-on-4 advantage. Will they take advantage? They're just going to run this thing down a little bit.
Taking it slow, making some decent decisions with the ball. Up, another open shooter.
They're up by 19, that being the Mariners. Jump shot, no good. Rebounded by the Mariners, and
a Westbury ball, it looks to be.
Yep, it seemed the ball went out of bounds, although it may remain on this side. I think it's actually Mariner ball. Mariners.
Okay. I was wondering why the ref pointed down this way and then it went the other way.
Yeah, a foul was called. That seems to be the call on the field. And it is Panther ball. That was a very confusing sequence.
Yeah, I saw the ref point this way, but then, Mariners are holding the ball. I was confused.
It's 26-7 in the Mariners' advantage. 21.8 on the clock. The shot clock turned off. Panthers will have a chance to run the clock down.
Yeah, it's Frazier bringing up the ball.
It's a big possession here if the Panthers want even a chance of getting back in this game. Frazier trying to shake a defender free. Floater, it's good. Really Panthers.
Good, like triple crossover right there, and then just got right into our floater and right in.
Mariners running down the court. 2 seconds. 1 second. Shot will be good. It does not fall in. The quarter ends 26-9. Panthers trailing big. We'll be right back after a quick break. And we are live here at the Clark Athletic Center. Mariners currently have the basketball. The first 15 seconds of this quarter has already begun. Mariners swing pass onto the far side of the court. Swing pass again. Mariners called for the travel.
Yeah. Caught the ball and ran with it.
Yep, a wasted open possession for the Mariners. Panthers will have a chance to respond. They trail by 17 here in the first quarter.
If you're the Panthers, you have to rally. You have to find some easy shots, and you got to be quick with your decision-making.
Got to win the quarters. Got to win each and every quarter down the stretch. That's Frazier with the ball right now in her hands. She'll dump it off to Walker. Walker surveying the defense, dumps it back off to Frazier. Frazier hands it off to number 21. That's Bellazzari. Bellazzari back to Frazier. Frazier hands it off. Mid-ranger, not really going to go, but a rebound for the Panthers.
Foul seems to be called.
Yep, and the Panthers, that's Malachi Frazier, who was number 1, who dealt the dish. Going to the line is Bellazzari, or excuse me, inbounding.
Merchant Marine foul number 20, Saving Crutcher.
Got a substitution to Kapala.
Back on the court for the Panthers. McLeod was the one who was fouled and got her own rebound to keep the possession alive for the Panthers. Frazier dumps it off to McLeod. McLeod driving to the basket, and she gets it to go. The 2-point shot, she just out-muscled them there.
Right, and that shots like that can happen. I
Yes.
feel like definitely against their bench, because the Mariners, their bench isn't that tall compared to the starting lineup, and that might hurt them. You never know.
McLeod identified the mismatch and took it. Mariners, lots of ball movement we see in this team.
And
Trying to generate the jump shot. Floater. It's
good.
good. Good floater there for the Mariners. It's 28 to 11 here.
The Mariners, they're a really smart team. They realize that the Panthers are reacting to every pass because it's a zone defense, so they're attracted to the ball every single time, so somebody's open.
Absolutely. Frazier driving to the rim. Floater, no good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Just hit off the back iron. A little too much on that floater. Mariners taking the ball up the court. A little bit dangerous to not press them immediately on the perimeter with how aggressive they've been shooting-wise, but no three-pointers here in the first half, the first few minutes of the third quarter. We might see it here. No one. No shot made. No one on the shooter. Mariners, three-point attempt. No good. Fight for the rebound, and they're going to rule it as Panther ball. It was off the Mariners, as it seems to be Frazier inbounding, taking the ball up the court, or they'll be switching the inbounder, it seems, or switching the call on the field, on the court.
Right. I saw that other ref go and talk to the other ref. It seems like they changed the call.
You're saying it was out on the Panthers, so it'll be the Mariners to inbound. Almost turned over. Mariners do turn it over there, though. Errant pass that flies over the hands of a Mariner on the perimeter.
And so, off these turnovers that the Panthers get, the Panthers, they really wanted that last turnover, and hey, they got it. So now you got to make something out of it.
They say ball doesn't lie. So if the call was the overturn was incorrect, that'd be evidenced by the turnover there. Mariners lead 28-11 as a timeout is called. Josh, the Mariners' offense, not the shooting at least on their bench, not looking as confident in their three-point shot.
Yeah.
Panthers have to take advantage.
And what I noticed is their shooting is good. I think to combat their shooting, you got to just switch up the defensive plan. You can't run the same zone, this 2-3 zone, thinking that it's going to help the defenders close out. It's not going to work. They're going to shoot over your zone every time, and that's what they've been doing. All you got to do is make 3 quick passes from one corner to the next corner. Corner, top of the key, back to the other corner, because they keep sending 2 defenders at the ball. Somebody's open. Right. And it's usually somebody in the corner, and it's been automatic all game so far. So they got to change that up. I think they have to run man defense, because it seems like they're a quick team. It seems like the Panthers, they're good at rebounding. They're tall, and they're kind of fast. So it's not like there's any mismatches on the court. I think you got to run a man defense.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes the zone isn't catching up. Is it keeping tempo with the Mariner offense?
That's
man to man.
Great way to put it, yeah.
You can control that a little bit more. Frazier received the inbound. She passed it back out. Travel immediately. Yeah. Wow. Tough break for the Panthers.
That was Fowler right there who caught the ball, and she just caught the ball and took 2 steps. You can't do that.
Cannot do that indeed, as the Mariners taking the ball up the court. That's number 3, Lodis, who's taking the ball up the court for the Mariners. Jump shot. It's good. Mariners first to 30. It's 30-11.
And the coach put in one of the starters, actually, and that's who hit that shot. Number 44 in the Mariners, as a foul is called. It seems like it's called against the Mariners, as OWWR takes out the ball. Oh, no, a timeout has been called by the OWWR coach.
What are you saying in this timeout if you're head coach head coach Joe Pelicane? What is your message right now to your players?
For the Panthers, like I said, you switch up the defensive plan. You can't keep running the zone. It's not working. And you got to change the things that are clearly hurting you. You know, if they're shooting over the zone, you stop using the zone. That's my thing. And then for the offense, I would say let some other players shoot the ball. Tell Lewis hey, instead of catching and dribbling the ball, trying to get to the paint, just let it fly. Even if it's off, I think you got to just give yourself that chance to, hit that shot instead of dribbling to the paint. You're running into traffic, and then they're stopping you in your path. You definitely want to take good shots.
And their dribbles haven't been efficient enough for them to avoid the turnover issue they've had all year. As Cone receives the inbound pass, he picked off. Mariners have it. They're trying to get their offense set, but the Panthers pick it off, and they've got the advantage. They're taking it down the court, but they'll slow it down, trying to avoid another turnover. Cone now has it. She receives the pass from Belazar. Belazar to Lewis. Lewis from the perimeter, three-point shot. Rims out, rebounded by the Mariners. Not a bad shot, not a bad attempt.
No, if you're McLeod, you got to box out. You're the biggest on the court right now. You have to get down low, get under the rim, especially when your teammates on the perimeter with the ball. And even right now, they're still running the same zone on defense, and a shot goes up, it's not good.
Rebounded by the Panthers there. It's Belazar, I believe, and Cone running it up the court. But I think that's a good adjustment from Lewis to not just drive to the rim on a contested shot. That was a good drive to the basket, but it doesn't go for the Panthers. Rebounded by the Mariners. Those two shots, I like those two shots for Lewis.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely got to get more comfortable, and the only way you get more comfortable is by doing more. Just if it means shooting more, if it means dribbling the ball more, making more decisions. As Mariners got up a 3, it was an air ball. They're looking for another shot.
I think that three-point shooter would like to call it a very deceptive pass. That was just a pass, right? As Cone drives to the rim, unable to finish it.
That was a bad angle for that layup. You want to definitely get it over the rim. You want to get it up in front of the rim, for sure.
Yeah, a good, a sharp drive to the basket by Cone. It was contested immediately. Panthers unable to convert the fast break point off the miss from the Mariners. Mariners swinging the ball around the court, trying to generate a jump shot. They've been doing very well. Jumper inside the three-point line, rebounded by the Mariners. The putback is missed by the Mariners and rebounded by the Panthers, who get the ball out. That was McLeod, who handed it off to Lewis, who handed it off to Cone. Cone now taking the ball up slowly.
And backcourt violation, it seemed like, or some type of
It's a violation against the
violation.
Panthers.
I think it took too long to bring the ball up the court.
I believe that is the case, yes.
The score is 30-11.
Can't have those kinds of turnovers here.
No.
I mean, you're
down, you're down 19, or you definitely want every chance you can to get up a good shot.
It's kind of getting late early. Is that crazy to say?
No.
I mean, you
need momentum right now. You don't want to be down double digits.
Yeah, they haven't really eaten into that lead.
Yeah.
It was a 19-point lead at the start of the second quarter. It's a 19-point lead right now, so just minutes have flown off, and it is a foul on the Panthers, a reach-in foul. Cone charged with the foul there. Mariners will get to inbound. Not a costly mistake, but definitely one that could matter later if they get into foul trouble. And the pass is way out of bounds. Panthers will take over here.
And even when the Mariners try to get up like a shot inside the paint, it's kind of flawed. It doesn't really happen that much. It seems like when the perimeter shots aren't going, their offense is pretty stale.
Cone drive to the basket, layup, it's good.
Good left-hand layup. You got to take advantage of that. The left side of the court was pretty open.
Yes, as the Mariners pushing the tempo here on the offense, immediately met by multiple Panthers. Jump shot from 3. It's good, or a 2-point shot, excuse me. It's 32-13 here in the first quarter, 19-point game again. Panthers taking the ball up the court. That's Frazier with the ball in her hands. Coppola at the top of the key looking to maybe set a screen. Frazier. Oh, she's got to get the ball out. She might turn this one over. Met by heavy defense. Coppola now has it. Coppola dumps it off to Frazier again. Frazier spinning, looking. Coppola jump shot. It's good.
That was a great play.
She's been incredible this season.
That was a great play. Frazier threw it down to Coppola and chased the ball and got it right back and just put it quickly back up.
Might have to find a way to run this offense through Coppola and her ability to hit those jump shots. Turnover. Picked off. Frazier running to the basket. She's met by a defender for the Mariners. But the putback from Coppola draws a foul.
I really like that possession. I like that defense. And
yes.
It's showing that, they're still, their heads are still somewhat in the game. Even down 17, they want to chop at the lead, especially Frazier. Seeing a lot of that intensity, seeing some of that help.
As the Panthers will now have 2 opportunities at the charity stripe here in the Clark Athletic Center. Panthers trailing 32-15. Coppola's first free throw attempt. It's good. It's 32-16. Panthers have cut the lead down to 16. Coppola going for a second shot from the charity stripe. It's up, and it's good. Coppola has not missed a shot tonight. She's been incredible. Panthers trailing by 15 here. Sharp pass from the Mariners. Mariners swinging the ball around the perimeter. Panthers meeting them there. Drives to the basket for the Mariners. And will it be turned over? It will not. They keep it in bounds. Jump shot. No good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Mariners dump it out to the perimeter. Three-pointer. No good. Rebounded by the Panthers, and it'll be Panther basketball.
It's a 15-point game, but slowly chopping down at the lead. It was once 19. So
every point counts.
They now have a chance to chop it to 13 or 12. And you want to just keep that same, that same momentum going of just chopping at the lead, keeping them scoreless.
And a violation against the Panthers. They're ruling a turnover here. It'll be Mariner basketball.
Seemed like an illegal screen
yes,
of some sort.
Moving screen of the sort seems to be the call on the court. So far, Panthers, in terms of turnovers, they've got 8. They've got 9. Their opponent has 8. Still a little bit turnover heavy, but not to the same on the same rate as they were in their previous matchup. Mariners taking the ball up the court. They've been excellent from three-point land tonight. It's 32-17. Cross-court pass picked up by the Mariners. Mariners jump shot from the mid-range. Rebounded by the Mariners. Second chance. Foul called against the Panthers. They've been doing, that being the Mariners, been doing a very good job of picking up offensive rebounds tonight. They have 13 to the Panthers 2.
And this is definitely a different game from last week, as the Panthers had a lot of offensive rebounds.
Yes.
And I think that has to do with last week's team. They didn't really have the size that the Panthers have. They didn't really have the intensity, and that's kind of what you're seeing now, where at least even this team doesn't really have the size, but they still have a great amount of energy for their offense.
Absolutely. As the Mariners drain their first free throw attempt of the night, and the second one missed, rebounded by the Panthers, surrounded by multiple defenders, is Frazier. Frazier trying to get the ball out. She does. Panthers now taking the ball up the court. It's Lewis who has it. Lewis passes it off to Cone. Cone way out near the logo almost. Not taking a shot there, but trying to survey the defense. She drives to the basket. Fouled. Oh, no, excuse me, a travel called. Whistle was blown. Cone turns it over. Mariners will take the ball up the court here. The Mariners leading 33-17 here with a little over 3 minutes in the second quarter. Halftime will be here on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. We'll have a halftime show to discuss some of the stuff we saw in this first half. Three-point attempt missed by the Mariners, rebounded by the Mariners, and the putback is good. It's 35-17.
And you're letting the Mariners kind of get a few buckets in a row now. This isn't what you want.
Absolutely. Cone taking the ball up the court for the Panthers. Panthers trailing big here in the second quarter. They're losing 35-17. Cone almost turns it over, but floater, no good. Rimmed out, rebounded by the Mariners. Mariners taking the ball up the court. I didn't hate that shot. I thought it was a pretty good shot, all things considered. It just rimmed out. Poor luck for the Mariners. Seen a lot for the Panthers. We've seen a good bit of that tonight as Mariners swinging the ball around. Wide open three. No good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Mariners taking the ball out to the perimeter. And whistle blown. It'll be Panther basketball as Mariners called for a violation. It'll be Cone inbounding it to Belazar, who just flips it right back to Cone. Cone will be the person taking the ball up the court. I've got to correct myself. That was Lewis, and Cone picked off. Mariners, easy run to the basket. It's good. It's 37-17. The lead is extended to 20. Got a little under 2 minutes here in the second quarter. Panthers went from chipping away at the lead to down by 20. They were down by 19 to start the quarter. Coppola sets the screen for Cone. Cone driving to the basket. Coppola currently has it, dumps it off to Lewis. Lewis driving to the rim. Coppola has it. Tried to look to shoot over a defender. Dumps it off. Three-point shot. No good. Rebounded by the Mariners.
And with the Mariners bringing it up, you definitely expect them to take a three-point shot. It's coming. Ooh.
Almost a turnover,
No.
and it will be a turnover.
Yeah.
They dished it out of bounds. Panthers were ruled to not have made contact with the basketball before it went out of bounds.
It seems like every time they come down the floor, you're just expecting a a long distance shot, or not even long distance, but just a perimeter shot.
And one thing that's interesting, usually three-point shooting teams don't get great offensive rebound opportunities because the shooter is not actively involved in the rebounding. They're too far away, but that has not been the case for the Mariners here. Panthers almost turned it over. Cone now has it, fiercely defended at the top of the key, and a travel called against the Panthers. It'll be Mariner basketball with a little over a minute left in the second quarter, as Mariners will inbound at around half court. They'll get ready to inbound.
34 for the Mariners, bringing it up, passing it over to the left wing, down in the post, and it gets stolen by the Panthers. Moore coming down the corner, fast break, gets taken right back by the same player that had it stolen, and now they're trying to survey the floor, passing off to the right wing, passing over to the corner, getting it all the way around, letting everybody see it. Pump fake drive, pass back out to the last corner. Top of the key now, three-point shot, no good. Falls out of bounds. It'll be the Panther ball taking it out at their baseline.
Just a 0.3 second difference in game clock and shot clock as we get ready for the second half, the first half to come to an end here. Josh, kind of a Jose Alvarado kind of play there, a turnover from behind.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you stay in the play. Even when a turnover happens, you go and you get the ball right back.
Mariners' tempo is very good tonight. They've been playing quick, playing fast, playing hard. Panthers take the ball up the court down 20. It's 37-17. Panthers looking to try and score to end the second half and at least cut into this lead a little bit. Almost turned over. Coppola dumps it off. She keeps the possession. Three-point shot off the rim. Mariners have 12 seconds, 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. They're driving the ball up the court, 7 seconds. Wide open on the perimeter, passes deflected.
Yeah, it was tipped. It will still be Mariners ball just under their basket. 4 seconds left.
And kind of a big play there because had that pass been caught by the Mariners, they're in the paint, can at least try and draw contact there. 4 seconds left in this second quarter and the first half as a whole. Mariners looking for an inbound play. Inbounded, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Travel called with 1.7 left on the clock. Not sure the Panthers are going to get a shot off here, but the Mariners at least won't get a shot off. Panthers going to push the tempo. Half-court heave, won't come close. Quarter comes to an end. It's 37-17 Mariners. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here with a halftime show on OWWR Old Westbury Web Radio. And we are back here for the halftime show on OWWR Old Westbury Web Radio. If you're just tuning in at halftime, the Panthers trailing 37-17 to the Mariners here in the Clark Athletic Center. Josh, the Panthers did not have a great defensive quarter. You were talking about their zone defense in the first half and the flaws of running that defense. Can you talk about how the Mariners have been able to exploit it all night?
Of course, and I think it just has to start with the energy and the way they're expending the energy. So you have 2 players by the free throw line, and you have 3 by the paint. So that's a 2-3 zone that they're trying to run, and that zone is best for teams trying to attack the interior. That's why you load up on the 3 players under the rim, right? To defend the rim. They should be running some type of 1-3-1 or man defense, 1-3-1 zone, something to help protect the perimeter, because that's what's really kicking them in, the tail. I think it has to do with, the other team shooting, but more just their shot selection. They're still shooting more long-distance shots. They're not really going for the paint. They're still taking long 2s. They're maybe looking for a 3, and they'll settle for a long 2, but they'll take the shots outside the paint, and they're making them. They're not even needing to take any contact or expend any energy. All they're doing is passing the ball around, and the thing is with their 2-3 zone is that the 2 players that are always in front of the ball, they're focusing the ball. So they're double teaming the ball. Somebody's open. So one pass at the top of the key, one pass at the other corner. That other corner is still open. Somebody, whoever was in the paint or on the other wing, should have recovered to that corner, and that's not really happening. I think that's because they think that since they're in the zone, they got to stay put in one area, when really it's just about movement and covering an entire area, not just one area that you're standing in. You know what I'm saying? So I think it definitely has, the defensive game planning, it needs some adjusting, for sure.
Can you talk about why, for those at home who aren't really familiar with the advantages of zone versus man, the pros, the cons, why do you think man defense is better suited for stopping the Mariner offense?
I think it has more to do with, of course, shot selection. And, you're seeing what type of team you're facing. So, the coach thinks that, 2-3 zone is the best zone for his team, maybe. I think it just has to do with who you're facing. Maybe the coach is just trying to set up the team for what they're capable of. And I have a suspicion that the coach thinks that, okay, well, I have a lot of taller players. I have a lot of players that are specialized in defense, right?
Yeah.
So with them specializing in that defense, okay, I'm going to let them handle that by running that 2-3 zone. That's their specialty. That's like if I put these players in a predicament where they're not really familiar with it, they're not strong in this area, then they're going to fail. I think that's how the coach sees it. So they don't want to put players, he or she doesn't want to put players in that unfamiliar territory of, oh, okay, I'm not really familiar with having to defend on the perimeter and move my feet on the perimeter, so they're stuck in the paint, having to guard the paint. Maybe that's the issue. You never know, but I definitely could see that they're being outshot and being outpaced. So the other team, they're taking perimeter shots and they're getting back on defense faster. The Panthers, they're getting into the paint. They're looking to get shots in the paint, which is harder for them to get back on defense.
Yeah, and I think with the Panthers right now, you look at these two teams, it almost feels like we're watching a modern offense versus more of early 2000s, mid-2000s offense. And, there's a huge gap in spacing, and I think the Panthers, to your point, defensively have not been able to take advantage of that and have not been able to adjust to it. But just as importantly, the Panthers haven't really gotten off quality shots consistently throughout the contest. Credit to Coppola. Coppola has taken a lot of clean shots and taken what the offense has given her. How do you think they can get her more engaged so that they can have a chance to win this contest?
They literally have to get her the ball top of the key. They keep running the same play where Moore or a Cone dribbles it up top of the key, passes it off, catches it on the wing, and tries to dribble inside, or maybe it's Lewis catching it on the wing right here, trying to drive inside, and it's predictable. That's why they're getting stolen on the passes, because they're dribbling to the paint. They'll dribble one time in the paint and then make a pass. It's predictable. So we know, okay, you're coming to the paint and you're going to throw it outside the paint, so we're going to wait outside the paint for you.
And Coppola is the only player who's attempted a three tonight. So if you're the Mariner defense, what you've been able to do tonight is only worry about one perimeter threat. While you look at the Mariners, who have gone cold from three after a really good first quarter, they have 5 different players who have at least attempted a three. Ramsden has attempted 5 threes, have made 3 of them. Lottis has attempted 4 threes, only made 1 of them. But the fear of somebody else in that offense being able to shoot a three-pointer outside of Ramsden, I think, is creating a level of offensive, spacing that the Panthers have been unable to have all contests. We just haven't seen the Panthers able to generate any type of spacing, create space in the paint, create driving lanes. There have been too many ugly drives. You know what it is? Too many empty calories, too many empty possessions. Definitely. A lot of possessions, not even shots off, or good shots off.
Like I said, the turnovers that's been happening, or the types of blocks that's been happening, they haven't even gotten the ball on the rim, or like really an opportunity to make a shot. They've just been passing it off, and it's going right into the defender's hands almost. They're anticipating the passes and getting on the fast break. They're doing what I said the Panthers should do. One thing I wanted to note, you said last game that basketball is a game of runs.
Yes.
And I like to add, it's a game of styles. It's a battle of styles, and I feel like stylistically, one team is definitely better than the other. And I think that's kind of Westbury's problem, even with last game, where we saw them win because of their intensity, but they lost it kind of because of their shooting. Like, they would have blew out that team last week if they just made more layups, made better decisions with the ball. They still had a lot of turnovers last week, and I think right now you're seeing them face a team who they're more responsible with the ball. They kind of know what they're doing more.
They're a well-oiled machine, I think, is the best way to put it. And to look at the first half stats here, Panthers shot 7 from 24 from the field, 29.2%. The Mariners shot 41%. That's 16 of 39 from the field. Panthers 1 for 2 from 3, that's 50%. Mariners 4 for 13, that's 30.8%. Rebounds 30 to 20 in the Mariner advantage, 20 additional rebounds. Offensive rebounds 15 to 2 for the Mariners. Josh, how can the Panthers eat into that rebound differential? Again, offensive rebounds 15 to 2, overall rebounds 30 to 10.
You asked me how could OWWR improve?
Yes.
I think they can improve by, well, it's kind of hard because they kind of do have the size advantage. I would assume just it's you know what it is. It's more of the positioning on defense because the Mariners are getting offensive rebounds, which means that somebody's out of place on defense. Because how is Coppola not getting on these rebounds? You know, she's having to contest, probably switch, or maybe the double teams are making her have to guard somebody else, and so nobody's able to, you know, bring down the ball. You know, you can't, if you're not securing the ball and securing yourself more possessions to get more chances to score, you're not going to score as much, and that's kind of what we're seeing also.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this has been a one-sided affair. This is not a close contest.
I know you asked me how could the Panthers get better, and I didn't really answer your question. I think that they could do the rebounding job better by, I mean, I guess I kind of said it, positioning. I think they're letting, sorry I don't know the names, but number 44 on the Mariners kind of pull down the ball a little more, get more rebounds, and I think that shouldn't really be happening. I think the Panthers have McLeod, have Belizaire, have Fowler. You know, these players could really bring down the ball outside of Coppola. And, you know, you kind of look for that out of them. And I also look forward to seeing some other people bring the ball up after rebounding it. You know, you see somebody get the rebound and then immediately pass it off to Cone or Moore, and it kind of shows a lack of confidence and, you know, making decisions with the basketball. I think you need whoever rebounds the ball to bring it up and make a pass and make a play. And they need to get used to doing that. Then you have more players who are threats to get the basketball. Not only with just taking care of it, but passing it or shooting it. And I mean really initiating the offense, bringing it up the court and setting up that half-court offense and making something happen. I think outside of Cone, outside of Moore, you know, you got to let McLeod try it. You got to let Davis has been getting the ball, but it seems like she's been told to shoot it only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, you know, you want these players to get better at other avenues. How are they going to get better without that practice, without the repetition?
And as we talked again about the kind of I'm going to call it for what it is, the whooping the Panthers have received from the Mariners tonight. Yeah. I think you talk about, we just compare, it's a tale of two teams. One team firing on all cylinders, functioning like a complete roster, really good ability to pass the ball around, really good ball movement, good shooting. Everyone knows their role. Everyone knows where to be. Right place, right time, positioning-wise. The Panthers have to find a rhythm to just stay in this ball game because, Josh, you're down 20 right now. I know that, you know, at the end of the day, a win is a win and a loss is a loss, and they're all kind of the same. You don't want to lose by 30 or 40 on your home court.
Oh, no.
You do not want to lose by... There are some differentials that, no, it's not just one loss. That is over your head for a week and a half.
Even at this point of the season, you know, like, it's the beginning of the season and you just had your first win. You don't want your next game to be a blowout loss. It kind of looks like that win was like a fluke.
And that win did come... It was a win where the Panthers kept kind of keeping the door open.
Right.
You know, you want to feel like write the story of a hard-fought win, but that story falls short when you have, as you mentioned, a game where you are just outclassed. You look like a junior varsity team playing a varsity team at the high school level, a G League team playing an NBA team. That is what the gap looks like.
Like what I said before, when you think about the beginning of the season, you think about how, you think about who can... What can people bring? What can these new players, these freshmen and sophomores bring that's different? And how can they adjust to college basketball? And, you know, winning your first game, that gives you like a great confidence boost. But then to get blown out, it kind of brings you back down to reality. It kind of shows you, hey, like, you're still a rookie over here. And I think that's probably what it is too. I think the Mariners probably have a lot of chemistry together. They probably play, a lot of these players probably played together last season. And these players haven't. Our Panthers haven't. So maybe that's costing them as well.
And again, the ability to at least claw back into this game. A loss is a loss. Again,
Right.
a loss is a loss. But if you claw back into this game and you end up making it a 8-7 point loss, you don't feel like, it's not that you accomplished something, but it is that you are not beneath this team on an entirely different tier.
Right.
They're the better team. The Mariners are the better team right now. But can the Panthers at least pull that in a little bit closer? Maybe if, it's a launching pad moment for you in your season, as we have just a few seconds left before the second half begins. Josh, what is the biggest key and what's the biggest stat the Panthers need to improve in order to claw into this game?
I would say points off turnovers.
I would agree. I think points off turnovers is a great one. We talked about transition offense. Panthers haven't really been able to get their transition offense.
Right.
As halftime is over, great show from the Panthers cheer team, and our DJ for the night, Andrew, has done an incredible job keeping the energy high here at the Clark Athletic Center. The Mariners will inbound the ball. Panthers will await their inbound. The inbound is successfully turned over. Oh, no, but Mariners picked it back up. It was a tip that fell into a Mariner hand. Panthers sizing up the Mariner defense. Mariners get an easy bank shot to go for them. It's 39-17. As the Panther defense didn't really have an answer for the Mariners' ball movement there. It is Cone taking the ball up the court. Cone hands it off to Fowler. Fowler to Coppola. Coppola out to the perimeter, to the corner. A drive from Walker to the basket. Denied. Mariners have it. Mariners keeping the tempo moving. They'll slow things down a little bit now. Pass to the paint. Mid-range jumper. No good, but rebounded by the Mariners. Mariners have dominated in that category all night. Good ball movement here by the Mariners. Mariners swinging out to the top of the perimeter. Trying to get some people moving around. There's some shuffling for the Mariners. Off-ball movement. And the hook shot is good for the Mariners. It's 41-17. Auspicious start for the Panthers here in the second half.
Oh my goodness.
Cone falls over. Walker collects it. Could have been dangerous for the Panthers. Coppola will hand it off to Cone. Cone sizing up her defender. Clock winding down a little bit. Fowler now has it. Not comfortable with the three-point shot, it seems. Coppola has it. Panthers haven't even gotten inside the three-point line, really. Fowler dumps it off to Cone. Cone immediately blocked on the three-point shot. Shot clock turnover. Josh, not a great start in the second half. What are you seeing?
It seems like any type of offense they try to throw, it seems like the Mariners are prepared for it.
They have answers. That is a great way to put it. Mariners will take the ball up the court, leading 41-17. They have more than double up the Panthers. They're looking to triple up the Panthers here. They won't get it on that possession. The travel makes it Panther ball again. As Panthers trailing by a very large margin here, 24 points, their largest deficit of the evening. Fowler received the inbound. She dumped it off to Cone. Cone passed it off to Walker. Walker facing heavy pressure at the perimeter. Walker, can she shake past her defender? She's driving to the rim. Floater. It's good. 2 points from McLeod, and the Panthers have their 18th and 19th points of the game.
You saw Frazier right there, number one. She made a double crossover and then just dished it off. That was a great pass to the open layup.
As the rollover, the put up and in from the Mariners is good. Timeout called. 43-19. Number 44 for the Mariners. That's Barton, a sophomore forward. She has been really, really good tonight.
What do you think that the Panthers could do that would stop the run? That's just the Avalanche right now.
Josh, great question. I'm going to be frank. I don't believe the Panthers have the talent right now,
Really?
nor do they have the positioning or the feel for their camaraderie or the continuity to stop the Mariners right now. I think the Mariners, their ball movement, their positioning, the off-ball movement is befuddling the Panthers, who are still getting accustomed to college basketball.
Yeah, a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team.
First-year players. Yeah, a lot of first-year players. Frazier dumps it off to Coppola. Coppola back to Frazier. Frazier running on the left side of the court. Slows it down again. dribbling, shakes off a defender. Shakes off another. Fowler has it at the top, at the perimeter. Not really, the Mariners aren't really pressuring her at the perimeter. They don't believe she can shoot that shot. Coppola trying to drive inside, dumps it off the Cone. Cone trying to command the offense. 9 seconds on the shot clock. 8 seconds. 6 seconds. Turned over. Mariners denied the drive from Cone and are taking the ball up the court. Barton driving to the basket, passes it off. Kick, drive, fouled. A lot of contact. Mariners will get 2 at the charity stripe. It is 43-19. The Mariners will have a chance to take their 24-point lead and make it a 25 and 26-point lead. This shot from the charity stripe is good. It is 44-19, a 25-point advantage. As the Panthers getting mercilessly pounded by the Mariner offense. Mariners go 2 for 2 from that line on that trip to the free throw line. It's 45-19 in the Clark Athletic Center. A little over under 7 minutes in the third quarter. Panthers trying to generate something. They have only scored 2 points in the second half. The Mariners have been rolling in this second half. Frazier almost fumbled the pass and turned it over. Fowler from 3, rims out. Rebounded by the Mariners, who are driving up the court.
That is the second Panther to attempt a three-point shot, so you're seeing some different things come out of their offense now.
Panthers win the rebound struggle there, but yeah, good point. Second, only other player not named Coppola to attempt a 3.
Capolla's open in that corner right there.
Frazier swings it out to Coppola. Not a great pass. Maybe
get it right back to Frazier.
Right. Cone's floater.
It's good.
It's gonna roll in. Yeah, I had a little bit of doubt there when it was rimming out a little bit. Panthers kind of had a lid on the rim when it comes to those shots, but they get that one to fall. Mariners surveying the defense. They slow things down here. Josh is seeing Josh is pointing out that there's a defensive.
And you see how, and they got an outside shot. That's kind of what I meant earlier, where there's too many players in the paint, and it's kind of for no reason because they're not looking for those types of shots.
Right. And and it's funny because even though they're doing that, when the Mariners have a good drive to the basket, they get theirs.
Right.
So it's not really working the way they hope to intend it to. It's 47-21, 26-point advantage for the Mariners. But Josh, really good observation because Josh was pointing that out as the play was unfolding. The shot by the Panthers missed and rebounded.
I was just counting how many people were in the paint, and the ball was on the perimeter as the Panthers get back on defense, and a transition bucket goes down for the Mariners. Again, it is 49-21 for the Panthers. I think the Panthers have scored 1 or 2 buckets since halftime.
2 buckets, yeah. And it's interesting when we talk about this offense for the Mariners. They essentially had a quarterback pass there to Barton. It was, that was a dart. You'd see something like that from Mahomes on a Sunday as that mid-range shot is missed and rebounded by the Mariners. And Barton had one of her teammates right behind her. She was immediately met by Panther pressure, but they simply just passed it back and generated an easy shot. Barton at the paint, denied by Cone. Good defense by Cone on the.
She's out on the break.
Yep.
Slowing it down, looking for some decisions to make, and there's a open player, gets it to
Frazier. Frazier passes it out to Fowler, almost fumbles it there. Coppola has it. Surprised she didn't take that shot. She didn't have someone right on her.
Great open shot in the corner right there.
Three-pointer, it's missed. Rebounded by the Mariners. Been a lot of that tonight, Josh. Not a lot of converted shots for the Panthers. As the Mariners, picked off. Panthers, beautiful play. They have the fast break. Can McLeod convert? She can. 49-23. Really smart play, and maybe they should run more of those kinds of plays.
That was more Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, that was Jose Alvarado.
She was behind the person dribbling and then just stole it.
New York basketball legend Jose Alvarado there. I believe
right.
Was it Brooklyn or Queens?
I believe Queens.
Really? I'm from Queens, so I like my boy Alvarado. Three-pointer. Not good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Foul! And the Mariners will go to the line here.
And you're kind of hearing that energy from the crowd again.
Yeah, the Panther faithful trying to get the Panthers back in this ball game.
Yeah.
Panthers trail by 26 points. It'll be very hard for them to claw out of this hole. They essentially have to outscore by 26 points in about 13 minutes and 45 seconds. So
yeah, it sounds like a tough feat.
Josh, I will rule after these free throws how I feel about this contest. Free throw, first one is good for the Mariners. They get to the 50-point mark. They're up 50-23. They are trying to it's a race to double the Panthers, as the second one is good. They have made 5 of their 6 free throw attempts, that being the Mariners. They lead 51-23. They immediately respond to the pickpocket and layup by McLeod. Panthers, Lewis has it. Cone at the perimeter. Cone looking for a teammate. That's Frazier. Frazier at the perimeter. Smothered by Mariner defenders. Belazar, floater, no good. Rebounded by the Mariners. And Josh, I will place my heavy doubts on the Panthers outscoring their opponent by 28 points here with about 13 left in this ball game, as it's a foul called against the Panthers. Cone pretty aggressive in trying to deflect that pass. Not a bad defensive play. You got to be aggressive at this point in the game. Can't be really worried about whether you're going to foul or not, and it'll remain Mariner ball. They'll inbound. As jumper blocked. Mariners don't rebound it. Panthers have it. They'll slow it down, pass it off to Cone. I think that was the right call. They were going to be outmatched by a lot there, so I think the Panthers slowing it down there was the right decision. It is 51-23 as Cone has it at the top of the court. Frazier now has it. Frazier trying to get past the defense. She can't. She's looking for a Panther. Capola unable to get that one to roll in.
That was a really good pass. She faked the pass and then found the open player down low, and that's kind of what the decisions you need to make, where just be a little deceptive.
A rare miss from Capola there, yeah, and you talk about deception. The Panthers very deceptive there. They've been switching things up, and that's a bully ball there. Just got past Capola, who's a taller defender, but Mariners up by a whopping 30 points in the third quarter.
That is a feat.
It is a feat, and it's not even as if the Mariners have shot the lights out. They're really ice cold right now from 3. They've played really well from the paint, and the end one from Belazar. Panthers will have a chance at the very 3-point play. 53-25. Chance to make it a 27-point ball game.
Any way to cut the lead as much as you can.
They talk about Chris Paul, and I don't know if you remember that shot. Chris Paul, the huge 3 to cut it to 40, as that free throw is good. And it'll be a 27-point game. Look, I think for just your sense of pride, you just want to cut this deficit, right? We talked about that at the top
You
of the
got to keep
half.
playing. I mean,
Got to keep playing.
This is what you signed up for. You got to keep playing.
These are reps. These are important reps. How do you build into the next game? But, yeah, this is very much a Chris Paul hits a huge 3. Got the lead to 40. That's what this feels like right now in the Clark Athletic Center.
Yeah, I'm just surveying the crowd right now, just seeing some fan reactions, and Mariners, they're dribbling there. Find the layup down low. It's good.
Wow.
That's just good ball movement and just good awareness, knowing that, okay, my player from the left side of the court is about to cut under the paint right now. I know to just swing it straight to them, because the passer, their back was turned by the time they started running, and they knew they would be right in position.
Capola currently has it, dumps it off to Lewis, and turned over. Moore turned it over.
And right now, you're just seeing how the Mariners just play basketball, basically. You're seeing this feels like almost a scrimmage of some sort. Like this game doesn't mean anything. Another pass.
Not good. Rebounded. Taken away by the Mariners. Bully ball. Foul against the Panthers. It'll remain Mariner ball.
And that play was the exact same play they just ran, just on the other end of the court.
Yep.
Just threw it from the left wing under the basket instead of the right wing. But it's a great play, and it's been working.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think the Panthers have to get that type of motto.
Mariners inbound is passed into the backcourt. They'll play it from there. Hey, Josh, I got pulled over yesterday when I was driving home? I actually didn't get a ticket, though. My headlights were turned off. I thought they were on.
Really?
Yeah, interesting stuff as the Mariners currently have the ball. But I did not get a ticket. Had a very positive interaction with the officer who pulled me over. My first time pulled over. Layup is good for the Mariners.
Seems like the Panthers need their headlights checked.
They might need their headlights checked. My headlights working on my 2004 Honda Element, affectionately known as Emmett, also known as Emmy. I did name my car. That was my girlfriend's call, not mine. Lewis has it currently, driving to the basket. But me practicing responsible and safe driving. I would never get pulled over for speeding or being on my phone or reckless driving. Capola's three-pointer. No good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Tough board. 34 seconds on the clock in this third quarter. It is 57-26, a 31-point ball game.
I can guarantee you the player in the corner is about to take this shot.
I would not be stunned by
she
this.
moved, but she did take the shot. Wow.
Air ball. The countdown seemed to actually phase the Mariners, and It is pretty funny hearing air ball chants.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, how do you feel about if you're a Mariners player, you're blowing them out by 31, but the crowd is still on your head?
I actually think it's kind of funny. I can't lie.
I think that's amazing.
I think it's pretty funny. I can't lie.
You're still on the road. You're not at home.
Yeah, this is still Panther House. Layup is good for the Panthers. 10 seconds remaining, or 5 seconds remaining. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Shot won't get off here. Yep, no shot off there. It is 57-28, a 29-point game. We'll be right back for the final quarter of this contest right after this. All right, we're back here in the Clark Athletic Center. Missed a little bit of action as the Panthers had a turnover, but then created a turnover of their own. No points have been scored here in the second half, or in the fourth quarter, and that's the first points of the game. That's from Coppola, or the quarter, sorry. It is 57-30 here, 27-point game.
That was a great fadeaway that she did. She just caught it, turned, and made it. That was a great move. I like those types of moves where you're just quick, decisive. You know where you were going, you know what you were going to do, and you just did it.
A mí también, Josh. That means me as well in Spanish. Block! But, a foul called. Whoa, Josh, I thought that was all ball.
Whoa.
Josh, I think that was all ball.
Whoa, we all saw ball. Everybody
That was
saw it.
all ball, I think. But, hey, I'm not a ref. So
You're
I
seeing
wouldn't
the
know.
DJ Andrew, he threw his hands up like, whoa.
Andrew, absolutely disgusted from his DJ booth. Been doing a phenomenal job. Could argue he's in contention for Panther Player of the Game, but we don't hand that out to DJs, unfortunately. First free throw missed by the Mariners.
And the Mariners, they look miserable right now playing in Old Westbury.
And they're up by 27. That's kind of incredible to make them look miserable at this
That
point.
crowd presence, it matters.
Free throw from Barton converted there. She went 1 from 2 from the trip on that trip to the stripe.
Yeah, the crowd presence, that matters when you think about, just, okay, cool, you have a comfortable lead, but you're not comfortable, and that's kind of what you need to get back into the game.
Three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Mariners taking the ball up the court. They're racing up the court. Barton on the right side. I wonder if they try to, Barton has it. Crowd calling for a travel. Barton muscles her way through for 2. Barton having an incredible game, and
Seems
for
like
the first, go ahead.
No, it just seems like the refs are they're done reffing now.
Yeah,
they see the score and they're like, okay, our job's done.
Not sure about that non-travel call. It is 60-30. The Panthers doubled up here. Travel call. Crowd is absolutely furious here at the Clark Athletic Center. Myself, I don't have glasses, so I don't think I can actually make any remarks about whether the call is correct or not. Panthers will go on the defensive side. Mariners will take the ball up the court with under 8 minutes here in the fourth quarter. This game is out of reach. This game has been decided minutes ago, but at this point it's about pride, and the Clark Athletic Center getting loud here. Layup is good for the Mariners. The Mariners running it up here, up 32 points. More than doubling the Panthers. This is a blowout in the Clark Athletic Center.
And as the Panthers, you just have to look at this and you kind of have to wonder, where did you go wrong? And it kind of just starts with the first possession of the game. It literally started off with a 3.
I just don't know what these final minutes are going to look like, as it's a rebound from Cabal that's turned over. Barton, layup, no good. Rebounded by the Mariners. Foul. Okay, that was very, very obviously contact.
Yes, for sure. And, I think they're fouling just to show them, hey, it's still nothing easy. And you should do that.
Yeah, it can't be anything easy. You just can't let them get points like that. Panthers have committed a few fouls in this contest. They've committed fouls at a pretty hefty rate. They've been blown out tonight as the first free throw is missed.
With the game being at this point, you being the coach, would you just let your players, hey, just run what offense you think you want to run, just to get comfortable, just to get reps in?
I'd have them shoot some threes.
Definitely.
I'd have them get comfortable. Run some three-point plays.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like they're still running the same sets as the offensive rebound comes down for the Mariners, and they dribble it back out looking for a better shot. They're trying to get a 4-point play instead of the regular 2. Yeah, they're looking for a 3, and they throw it into the paint.
And it's good.
It's good. They got 3 points out of that possession off of the free throw and the layup.
Yeah, it's a 2 points. Sorry, they missed the first 2 free throws. So a summary of that sequence there. The Mariners went 0 for 2 from the free throw line, similar to my college Tinder numbers in my freshman year. And then they ended up getting the offensive rebound. They drive back to the basket, and they got 2 there on a tough layup. The Mariners now rebound the ball off a Panther miss. It is 64-30 here. in the Clark Athletic Center. We've got under 6 minutes left. I think both sides, honestly, both sides are just winding this clock
I think
down.
both sides are pretty much done with tonight. I think the Mariners know they got their job done as another 3 falls.
Hand down, man down.
For sure, and this definitely shows you where each team is, whether if it's in the conference or just in general where they are as a team.
These teams were not on the same court tonight. They were not on the same court. They did not belong on the same court for the majority of this contest. Coppola has it. She'll try and set the offense up. Almost turns it over, but doesn't. And that ball almost turned over, almost let loose. Panthers unable to do anything right now offensively. Three-pointer made by the Panthers.
That was by the hash mark. That was just a heave. That was a help. God, please help me. Please make the shot. That was one of those Hail Marys, and it went in out of all the shots that's been missed tonight.
It's now
Finally
67-33, advantage Mariners. Mariners from 3, answer. The silencer on the crowd. 70-33, Josh. 70-33. I expected you to be speechless on that response. Foul called. Panthers will get 2 at the line. I feel like this has been like a horror movie from bad to worse.
We haven't really announced the game like this, even in volleyball.
This is a proper butt whooping.
Yeah, I'm thinking about our time at volleyball. We haven't really announced the game like this where it was this much of a blowout.
There was that one contest that we got to call that it was the Panthers absolutely demolished them.
Mm-hmm.
Free throw made by the Panthers, 70-34. Like the opposing volleyball team, I think you and I could have beaten that team. I think you and I would put up a fight. I'm pretty. Look, I'll say this: I'm not in shape anymore. Free throw missed, rebounded by the Mariners. But you and I are taking them on. Josh, I trust you in that scenario.
And I know nothing about volleyball, I know something, but not much on a technical level.
Josh, I'm trusting you to get those plays done. I'm trusting you with the big play. I know that underneath the well put together outfit, the dress shirt, the pants, the tie is an absolute stud at volleyball who would defeat that Division III basketball team. The three-pointer swished in. Man.
That is number 4 from Mariners. She has hit about 3 threes, or definitely 2 in a row.
Sydney Brown absolutely destroying the Panther defense tonight in this fourth quarter. She's made 3 of her 5 three-pointers. She has, this is just not a close game. The hook shot missed, rebounded by the Mariners. It is 73-34. The Panthers are threatening to lose by 40 tonight.
They're threatening to try and flip the score on the Mariners.
They
have 73. The Panthers, if they hit a 3, they get 37.
Yeah.
Flip the score.
That'd be at least an interesting statistical note here in this contest. Brown, heat check. No good. Rebounded by Coppola. Coppola will fight off numerous defenders. I'm going to move this mic away from me. I got very loud there. Walker to Coppola. Coppola to Belazar. A lot of the starters still on the court for the Panthers, getting some cardio in. Nothing wrong with that. It's a cold night. Want to get a little bit warm. I'm wearing my coat. I know Josh put on his jacket as well. Shot attempt missed by the Panthers. Rebounded by Belazar. She loses it, though, and it'll be Mariner basketball. I will say, Josh, our coats are very stylish. I think you and I, we're very much like this is a very well-dressed booth.
I would agree.
I would agree as well. But I think are we both wearing khaki? Is it khaki or khaki? I don't know how to pronounce it. But
I say khaki.
Khaki. I think they're similar shades. We're both wearing red ties, although mine's a brighter shade. Yours more of a navy red shade.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a black shirt. You're wearing a white shirt. I see Andrew doing a great job here. I love some Bad Bunny, who will be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm excited for that one.
Really?
I'm excited for that. Yeah. I know he's Puerto Rican. I'm Dominican, but I love Spanish music. Big fan of music.
Hey, I think it's funny with the Super Bowl. I think it's amazing how you kind of have artists who it gets them so much notoriety, but they have to pay for the performance. You know what I'm saying? I think it's funny.
The artist pays to perform?
Yeah, you gotta
really?
pay. So you get invited to perform, but you actually have to pay for your own dancers, your backup dancers,
and
the lighting and everything.
Okay.
You have to pay for all of that.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Isn't it like usually a promotion before you go on tour? Isn't that kind of how things work?
It should. That's a good, financial choice.
Yeah.
You get a lot of exposure from that, so you should go on tour.
Kendrick Lamar, the hottest artist of last year, probably really parlayed that into a very notable Super Bowl performance as the Mariners taking the ball up the court. I'm not really much of a Super Bowl halftime guy. I don't really like watching that as the layup is made by the Mariners. But the last few years I've been into it. the last few years. Usually,
Usher was the year before, I believe.
Yes.
And, I like that because I think he dropped like an album right after. So once again, using that exposure.
Got to. As a Giants fan, I've had no reason to watch the Super Bowl for my team actually being there. They are absolutely terrible. Mariners rebound, a miss off the Panthers, almost turn it over, but they slow things down. Yeah, I think I'd rather watch paint dry than watch the Giants right now. They're terrible.
Mariners rebound off the Panthers. That sounds like just like the script to this whole game.
I could have said that at any point tonight. That is a good point. As Mariners just winding down this clock, under 3 minutes left. The Mariners didn't fall for the fake count this time. Brown to the rack. Doesn't get it to go. Rebounded by the Panthers. Yeah, at least the Mariners adjusted to that one.
Yeah.
Got to say, the crowd, I think the crowd is responsible for like 5 points for the Panthers. Right? Let's say 5 or 6. Not going to say the other range of numbers for juvenile listeners of this radio show.
Fowler on the wing with the ball, trying to look for an opening on a pass and gets it to Capella. Just, I'm wondering to see where the Panthers offense goes. It seems like the coach actually did allow them to create whatever offense, they decided, create, just to see, what could be out there for them. And it seems like nothing much has come out of that. You have to remember these are a lot of freshmen and sophomore, a lot of, not really any returning players to the team. As Mariners lose it and it goes out, Panthers will take it out at the baseline.
75-34 here in the fourth quarter at the Clark Athletic Center. There's under 2 minutes left in this contest. Panthers mercifully hoping for this contest to just end. They might be willing to if they could snap their fingers and just bring to the end of the game, I think they would. I think both teams would.
I think this is a learning experience.
Yeah,
for sure. First time getting beat like this, okay, and you get to see what goes wrong with your offense, with your defense, and hopefully they're very critical to get better. And
Floater's
that was a great
missed.
move, but yeah, floater is off.
I agree. That was a pretty good move to get through the defense. At least get the shot off. Sometimes getting absolutely whooped can teach you something, right? It can teach you something. I think there's something to be learned in losing. And it's about what you do after a loss that matters. Layup, no good. Panthers rebound it. Panthers will take it up the court. There's a little over a minute left as Panthers trailing by 41 in the fourth quarter here. This one will be an absolute blowout in the advantage of the Panthers, but and one there. 2 points, chance for a 3-point play. It's a minute 04 left. Is there some pride at least in not losing by 40? I think there is, right? There's some semblance
just not
of it.
letting them double your score at least.
That would be a goal. I think that's a goal, right? That is a goal we can reach. And, like I say, I'll lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. They can convince themselves that'll happen the minute, which I'm not sure that will happen. Same way I'm not going to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year. Free throw is up, and it's good. 3-point play completed. It's 37 points for the Panthers, 75 for the guest Mariners. Mariners taking the ball up the court, and we're just going to see them start running these things down here. Brown, I'm kind of surprised. They're playing like this is the third quarter, and this is like a 5-point game. Quick offense. Panthers fouled.
I'm looking for the
Mariners.
I was looking for the foul right there. I thought the defender's hands were straight up. I didn't really see that real much. I didn't see much contact to begin with, but I don't know.
Yeah, I also question whether the need for a foul called with 44 seconds left in a 76-37 contest, right? Just
right.
As an observer.
You're right.
2 for 2 from the free throw line are the Mariners on that trip. Panthers will inbound it. Walker ran into some traffic but keeps the ball alive and has the possession. 44 seconds left on the clock. Panthers will try to cut within 40 here. Walker to the lane. No good. There was some contact there, but no whistle drawn. Walker fell. She'll race back, and there's still some difference between game clock and shot clock, so there'll be another possession after this one. Brown has it at the perimeter. Leading by 40 are the Mariners. Mariners have been all over the Panther defense tonight. and their defense has been equally as incredible as their offense. The clock starting to wind down. Brown, layup, it's good.
79 points for the Mariners.
79-37, 42-point lead. The Panthers will take the ball up the court. There's under 10 seconds left. Will they just try and get a shot off? Walker will hold it. 3, 2, 1. The game is over. The Panthers promptly and soundly defeated by the Mariners in a score of 79-37 here in the Clark Athletic Center. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our post-game show and our interview with our Panther player of the game right after this. And we are live here in the Clark Athletic Center as we are getting ready for the post-game show here in the Clark Athletic Center. Panthers promptly defeated by the Mariners on a score of 79-37. Unsure if we're going to be able to get our Panther player of the game interview as the Panthers went into the locker room. And, you know, after a sound defeat like that, sometimes a little bit difficult to discuss the matters of defeat there. It was a tough loss for the Panthers. They were outscored pretty handedly. It was a one-sided affair the whole way through. Let's give you a quick game recap as we await news on our post-game show. Coppola, running out of the tunnel, seems to be ready for the interview, so we'll just get right into things here. We have Josh, our color commentator, who will also serve as our sideline reporter for tonight. Josh Wilson bringing over Coppola of the Panthers. It's Casey Coppola. We're joined with Josh, and we'll send it over to our sideline reporter, Josh Wilson, who's joined by Panther player of the game, Casey Coppola. Josh, take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm here with our Panther player of the game, Casey. So, how has it been your first 2 games on Panthers and first 2 games as a Panther?
I mean, it's been really great. We definitely have things to work on, and I think just the opportunities. We played last year the best team in the league. This game, only our second game, and I think that's a good way to start the season. I think play the hardest team so we really can build this team to what we want it to be. It was a really great opportunity. I think we know what we have to work on, and we'll do that going forward, but really it's just a great team to play with. So.
All right, so after last contest where it was a hard-fought win to this contest where it was kind of a blowout loss, so how do you think the game got away from you guys? Like, what do you think happened in the first quarter? What do you think happened?
I think we went into the game kind of knowing their strengths and what we had to work on, but the execution, I think, is going to need the work. We had 2 very tall players in the post, and we knew we had a double team, but I think, you know, with their fast breaks and just getting back in defensive time, I think that's something we can work on. But excited to do it, excited to work on the opportunities.
And final question. So after tonight, you guys play again. How do you think you're going to bounce back? How do you think the team and the rest of your team is going to bounce back?
My coach always says, like, you win more from losing than you do from winning, so we're definitely going to, you know, take a lot of what we learned today into the next game, especially conditioning-wise, you know, just being as fast as we can be to beat those fast breaks and then have our own fast breaks. So I think we'll continue to scout teams and, like, you know, look at their strengths and set up our defense accordingly so. But I think this was a really great game to learn and then go forward from here.
All right, thank you, Casey. All right.
Thank you to both Casey Coppola and Josh Wilson. Josh, our sideline reporter, and Casey Coppola, Panther player of the game, 13 points on the night. She shot 5 for 9 from the field. Panthers, again, defeated tonight by a score of 79-34. And, you know, Casey discussed a lot of the issues that the Panthers had tonight, and I think it's important to know about improvement and the ability to self-improve is something that I think the Panthers are going to need to work on in order for them to be where they want to be by the end of the year. It's a journey, it's a process. That is what the long season is for. As we start wrapping things up here on the Panther post-game show. Josh, after that interview, anything that you want to add before we wrap things up here after that interview you had with Casey Coppola?
Not too much to add from the Panthers' perspective. I'm not a Panther player, but what I can say is I like the confidence of the team. I like that, you know, it doesn't seem like the loss really phased Casey, and I think that, you know, I think that's a bright light for the Panthers. And, you know, like we said, that this is their second game of the season, second home game. A lot of new players, a lot of growth can be done, and, you know, a lot of ways to definitely get comfortable, for sure.
as Coppola noted, the Mariners, the top team in their conference, one of the best teams in the Skyline Conference. As, again, we are wrapping things up here at the Clark Athletic Center, the Panther post-game show. Panthers defeated 79-37. We'd like to thank our team here at OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio. I want to thank the viewers, the people listening here and tuning in on OWWRNY.org or on the TuneIn app. I want to thank my partner, Josh Wilson, for excellent analysis throughout the game. Our DJ, Andrew, did an incredible job throughout the night, entertaining the crowd. I think genuinely increases the atmosphere, improves the atmosphere here at the Clark Athletic Center. I want to thank our engineer for tonight, that's Mohammed Dukare, and of course our station manager, the one and only Joseph Manfredi. To all of you listening, thank you and have a great rest of your night. Until next time.